Wake your ass up.
Or take a damn nap.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
It's time.
Sean, you were twerking. That's going to happen.
Murph, don't be a dick all your life.
It's one of the more fun podcasts I've ever done.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not talking about sports in the man cave, I bet not say you not a man.
That's it.
Well, welcome, and it's a beautiful day that the Lord hath made, and we shall rejoice in it.
We're in the golden age of college baseball.
People just kind of get tired of Texas, to be honest with you. And so we feed off of that.
Yeah, here we are on the eve of the 75th College World Series. Unbelievable time of year. And if you are not a sports fan, and I know a lot of you are not, but I hope honestly, if you're not a sports fan and you're watching this podcast, I am grateful and flattered. But the College World Series in Omaha is one of the greatest events that you could ever attend. And those who don't like baseball, please make it a point to schedule for next year. And I mean, do it 8 to 9 months in advance. And I'll tell you why, because there was a tweet earlier today which you can avoid all of the hassles that it requires if you do things at the last minute. But episode 148, the eve of the 75th College World Series, and it is sponsored by Honest AC and Plumbing. Those guys really do phenomenal work. They pretty much serve the northern outskirts of Austin, the suburbs, that being Hutto, Pflugerville, Round Rock, Georgetown, Leander, Cedar Park, and Pflugerville. And those guys believe in a handshake, which means they stand behind their work, and their word is golden. Now, speaking of Honest, I got to pull up this. They are a sponsor of ours, of course, and they jumped on the College World Series train and dished out some stats or facts, some honest facts, if you will, about the College World Series. Fun and honest facts. Of course, Texas, I think it's clearly known or widely known now that Texas owns the record for the most appearances at the College World Series. And you can't say all in Omaha because there were a few years in which the College World Series was in places like Kalamazoo, Michigan, before it moved permanently to Omaha, Nebraska at Rosenblatt Field, now into the new field, which was TD Ameritrade, now new corporate sponsor, Charles Schwab Field. Now, Texas' first opponent, that being Notre Dame, this is their first College World Series appearance in 2 decades, but they may be the best hitting team because Texas can have an argument for that. Texas A&M, now these are all teams, the first 3 who are in UT's bracket. Texas A&M, they have lost 8 consecutive College World Series games. They've only won 2 College World Series games, the Aggies, all time in their program history. And then the Stanford Cardinal, by the way, on the other side of the bracket with 3 other SEC teams, that being Stanford. They are 22-2 in their last 24 games this season. Stanford really hot, and they were pushed to the limit. Of course, one of those 2 losses in the last 24 games was to the Texas State Bobcats in the regional that was in Palo Alto, California. Stanford, man, they are rolling. Texas State had a great year. By the way, Steve Trout, the head coach, well, he got a 5-year contract extension, and rightfully so. Big things are happening and headed their way in San Marcos, Texas, and that's where we're going to continue right here. I am Sean Clinch, your host, of course, and we're having some fun here with the College World Series countdown. And Texas, well, let's just say the Longhorns are rolling in with a lot of confidence, and they're very familiar with Omaha, Nebraska. They're very familiar with now Charles Schwab Field. It's hard to not say TD Ameritrade. Of course, I think that stadium's only 11 years old. I went to the last 2 CWSs at old Rosenblatt Field, 09 and 2010, and I think 2011 was the first year of the College World Series at TD Ameritrade. I think I need to look back at my history there. Let me put my phone on silent here. But Texas, it has a lot to be confident about how they ended the year. They faced adversity, had a season in which started off great, but then had an injury. And we've talked about that ad nauseum. But Texas has this saying on their shirt that they adopted: keep going. Trey Faltini, what I like to say, the All-American shortstop, he explains how they came up with that slogan that they now wear on shirts.
We were in an inner squad before the beginning of the year, and me and Ivan on defense, and we're just kind of messing around at this point. We just started like rapping songs in the middle of the inner squad, and there's a song, it's called Every Chance I Get, and it says keep going in it. And I kind of just, jokingly said it, and then little by little kind of just kept saying it, and then eventually the whole team kind of caught on, and now we use that on our T-shirt. And every time we're down or, someone's battling AB, we just say keep going because, obviously it's the rap song, but, in other words, for baseball, it's, we're fighting to the end.
And how fitting that is. They just keep going. And that team looks so confident. Nothing rattles them. If you watch them in the Super Regional at East Carolina, those guys, when you show no emotion, yeah, they get excited. They're all around, they're rallying around each other. But when they're down or going through some adverse situation, they look dialed in. It's dialed in as if they know someone in that lineup or on that field when they play defense is going to make a play that could change the trajectory of the game. And they're very confident in one another. So keep going. Now you know. Now you know why that slogan is a thing and how it all became about. Now, as you would imagine, when Coach Pierce hit the podium today in Omaha, he, Silas Ardoin, the catcher, and Trey Faltini represented Texas at the pre-College World Series press conference up in Omaha. David Pierce was asked a question because Texas has been to the College World Series more times than anybody. Keep in mind, this is the 75th College World Series. Texas has been to 38 of those. Ridiculous. That's over half of the College World Series UT has been a part of. It's hard enough to get to a College World Series, much less over half of them in the history of the event. Well, Coach Pierce was asked about, do the players feel a pressure, so to speak, to uphold that expectation to go to Omaha every year? And why everyone seems to hate Texas. And this is Coach Pierce had a great answer. And that's kind of true. Everywhere you go, you see the horns down. You saw it overkill at East Carolina. It's unreal. But here's Coach Pierce talking about that question he was asked about Texas upholding a tradition of going to Omaha every year and being hated everywhere they go.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just when you come to Texas, I took the job at the University of Texas from Tulane, Sam Houston State, spent 9 years at Rice, 2 years at the University of Houston, and coached high school for 11 years. I grew up in the state of Texas, and I looked at the University of Texas as the pinnacle of college baseball. Those guys must be really something special. Those guys must get everything. They receive whatever they need. They have all the resources. And it's really not the case. We're another really good team. But I think from the outside looking in, you look at our situation, and I think it's built from the history of this program, the success of this program of 38 times into Omaha. People just kind of get tired of Texas, to be honest with you. And so we feed off of that.
Yep. A lot of hating. People are tired, and I get it. But I have this story to tell you. There's a lot of new blood. And the thing about college baseball is the simple fact that there are a lot of mid-majors. It's the only sport, I think, in which the mid-major truly has an opportunity to win a national championship. It's been done. Fresno State, Coastal Carolina, in recent history, it's been done. But my point being is, more often than not, you see Texas there. So my story is, I've heard it from people who have been going almost every year to the 2 times that I've been, back when it was in Rosenblatt, all those neighborhoods back there, the people in Omaha, this is their deal. This is their big event. I mean, the new stadium holds, 25,000 people. These people look forward to the College World Series. And when I went in 2009, Texas was in it, and they made the championship series against LSU. 2010, Texas was not there. TCU was there. They're the ones who beat Texas that year in Austin at the Super Regional. But back then, there were tailgates in people's front yards, the parking lot. The people of Omaha, a lot of people in Omaha, despite being in Nebraska Cornhusker country, were Texas baseball fans because they have been a mainstay for so long, and they bring the fans. And the Texas fans, for the most part, baseball fans, are a lot of fun. The ones who have been coming and supporting, dating back to the Wild Bunch, the old Wild Bunch and that group. A lot of people love the Texas fans because they have a high baseball IQ. They understand. They spend a lot of money in Omaha, and whether it be hotels, restaurants, bars, whatnot. But there's a lot of people in Omaha who love Texas baseball fans, and that's one of the reasons there. And they just been there forever, so they go quite often, if you will, 38 times. So the uniqueness of this year, and we've said it before, is in UT's bracket alone, you have A&M, Texas A&M, and OU, and of course Arkansas in the other bracket. So it's a very unique opportunity for Texas fans to really embrace this uniqueness of all these rivalries, including Texas A&M. A miraculous turnaround season. Jim Schlossnagle did amazing things at TCU. In fact, this will be his 6th trip as a head coach to the College World Series, 5 at TCU. And he brought in a lot of transfers to Texas A&M. And he was asked about that, how did he do it with a bunch of players that he wasn't familiar with? Well, it was his first year, and he brought in new players. I don't think a lot of people really knew who they were, and how he was going to perform. But a lot of people got behind Jim Schlossnagle, and rightfully so. So this is how Coach Schloss answered a question today about having all those new guys and turning around the program this year in his first year going to Omaha.
I think just what we talked about is, number one, the players. They have good players. They might be orphans. They might be everybody from somewhere else, kind of, but they're good players. Troy Claunch is a real player. He'd be in professional baseball if it was more than a 20-round draft. And you see that a lot. That's why college baseball, I think right now, we're in the golden age of college baseball. It's going to last for a while, but with a 20-round draft, more scholarships coming, we hope. This is the golden age of college baseball.
I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more with that. I mean, between the extra years of eligibility given due to COVID, I know it's temporary. It's caused a lot of strain on college baseball rosters because of the 11.7 scholarship limit. But we've been able to see this is a time frame in which college baseball's talent is at an all-time peak. I mean, you've got guys who should be playing in the minors or the rookie league, single A, high A, even double A, decided to come back. And as Coach Schlossnagle mentioned, the MLB draft, amateur draft, whittled down to just 20 rounds. And, of course, the slotted money for certain round picks. I mean, Ty Harrington's been on this show, the former legendary winningest coach in Texas State Bobcat history. He's mentioned it. He mentioned it before the season even started, that this was going to be perhaps the best year for a college baseball fan or anyone to watch college baseball because of the high level of play across the board, across Division I. Even Division II programs like National Power, Angelo State, and San Angelo out in West Texas, who went to another Division II College World Series, they have Division I talent on their roster because of the roster limits. A lot of wealth of talent spread across the board, and it's been fun to watch. So I can't disagree with Coach Schloss on that at all. This is the golden age of college baseball for more reasons than one. I mean, it has been fun. If you watch these games, especially all the regionals and super regionals, it's been a lot of fun. And you can't help but wonder how much that has helped out the Oklahoma Sooners. You know, there was rumors that our guy, Skip Johnson, he spent 10 years as the pitching coach at UT, and I believe won a national championship or two maybe at Navarro College in Corsicana, Texas, high-level junior college baseball played in that conference, actually all across the great state of Texas. Junior college baseball is really good. Oklahoma had some really good early season wins. And there was rumors that there was pressure on Skip this year to win. And I don't get it. And he had the COVID year that started off really well like Texas did, and COVID just ended the season. Last year had a key injury to a starting pitcher. That affected him. Well, throughout the year, OU has done this. I'll give you the timeline. Started like this, just steady, kind of plateaued out. And then that last 3 weeks of the season did this. Now, keep in mind, Texas, I think, took 3 or 4 games from the Sooners. But Skip Johnson powered through the regionals, powered through the super regionals at Virginia Tech. And they didn't dogpile after they won the super regional. They had that much faith in themselves. So Skip was asked today about, obviously, that. But he was asked about through Eddie Radosevich, who is quite the character, great content producer up in Norman in Oklahoma City, friend of mine, by the way. And he's a friend of the Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast, Eddie Radosevich. Follow him. It's worth a follow. He's hilarious, comical, brilliant. But he asked a serious question today about any memories of being in Omaha when he was with Texas under Augie Garrido, the late, great Augie Garrido. And, you know, he's smiling down above just his favorite time of year. He coached different in Omaha. He lived for Omaha. And this is what Skip had to say. I mean, he had a great answer, and he told a great story about a season that he remembered how he and Augie were coaching together at Texas, one of those Omaha teams that they coached together at UT.
Yeah, in 2009, I'll never forget it. I mean, the bus was like a courtroom or whatever you say. I mean, it was like really quiet. And I mean, all of a sudden he let the radio play, and I was like, wow, this is where I came from. The song from Kenny Chesney came on. I'll never forget it. And we get ready for the first game. He didn't talk about winning or losing the game. He talked about executing. He talked about getting bunts down. He talked about first pitch strikes. He talked about playing good catch. And we went on a walk-off walk. I mean, how does that happen, you know? And I thought to myself, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. But they never talked about winning and losing, because what happens in this game, you talk about winning and losing, kids start fearing that, you know, instead of just playing the game. Because like I said earlier, do you ever really win at baseball? I mean, you don't. I mean, you just got to keep playing the game, and it's an incredible venue, and I think that's what Coach embraced. I thought when you got down to the College World Series, it was totally different for him, and being around him for the 10 years, I was blessed to be around him and Coach Harmon.
Unbelievable. Brings back great memories. Augie lived for Omaha. No, and those teams he coached, he was mentally prepared, and the team responded whenever they had an opportunity and they had the squad to do it. Of course, I know some of the teams that made it there didn't live up to the national championship aspirations, but either they played for it or they just were in a very tough bracket. But that was a great story from Skip. And, man, we were pulling for Skip Johnson. Skip, pulling for you, bro. And a lot of people are. Of course, I know a lot of people are saying, except when they're playing Texas. Of course, then it all starts Friday at 6. Actually, Friday afternoon at 1. Texas A&M and Oklahoma, the two old Big 12 rivals, And then at 6 o'clock, prime time, Friday evening, Texas and Notre Dame. Notre Dame is their first appearance in 2 decades. And it's going to be a lot of fun, to say the least. Cannot wait. And give it a chance. Give it a chance. Watch it. Watch all day if you can. Yeah, manscaping in the man cave. We're going to make this one really quick, but manscaped.com. They're evolving constantly. Great products, and they are a sponsor and a friend of Stories Inside the Man Cave, and their products, and they do a fabulous job. I mean, women have all these amazing products and tools they use. Well, manscaped.com said, you know what? Men need to be taken care of and pampered too. And they've had some really good products. I have so far their latest and greatest. But this latest one, the Ultra Smooth Package, and it's the shaving care for down there. Yeah, I did that. Just said it. It's 3 great products. They're paying more attention now to the needs of men in shower gels, whatnot. But it's a 3-step process, actually 4. Get in the shower, number 1. Scrub it, lube it up, and it's showtime. So scrub it up. That's when you pull in the crop exfoliator. It's a gentle exfoliant for the groin area. Yeah. And then for lube it up, afterwards, you got to do the clear groin shaving gel. And there's showtime. This razor, it's about this big. You don't need a long razor. You just don't. Yeah, you just don't. Size isn't everything in this particular situation. So get the Ultra Smooth Package. Go to manscaped.com and compliments of Stories Inside the Man Cave. Use this promo code right there, ManCave20, all bunched together when you check out after purchasing the Ultra Smooth Package, and you'll get 20% off when you put that in the promo code there, and you get 20% off, and that is well worth it, my friend. Do it. It works. Your significant other does not want you to look like a German Black Forest below the belt. I promise you. We need to take care of ourselves.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Hey, tell me something good. It's sponsored by our guy, Kevin Hutchison of Realty Austin. Hutch is in the real estate game, does a fantastic job, very knowledgeable of the real estate game, the comps, everything, this hot market, all up and down I-35. But he is he's in the real estate game in Austin and San Antonio, a guy, and even if he doesn't have the information, he will find a way to help you and assist you, because it is a process. And personally, not because he's a friend, not because he's a sponsor of this great podcast. If I would want someone right now to help me out, understand the real estate game, the situation, the bidding process, which you really need to bid on a home sometimes in a matter of a day. Hutch would be my guy, hands down. I'll tell you something good. I think it's beautiful that college baseball and Omaha, Nebraska is the benefactor of this all. College baseball is on the forefront. It has been building every year when the postseason begins, leading up to now, College World Series. It's absolutely amazing. And, but there's always some people that want to complain, and it's human nature. And I want to show you this. I want to bring up this screen. Hold on just a second. I'm going to bring up a graphic right here. I'm going to bring this up, and it's something I saw today. Kind of bothered me a little bit, but it's something good too, because it's somebody is talking about Omaha. Any talk about the College World Series, I'm all about. All right, this tweet right here, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. First of all, the Justin Lee right there says, what if we had the College World Series in a city in Nebraska where there's no flights and no hotels and rental cars? Or our buddies at Burn Orange Nation says, I get that Omaha is great and everything, but it's by far the least convenient gathering place in college sports. It's easier for some of us to get to the British Open. All right, that's kind of funny. But our guy in Occupy Left Field, Mark Pena, said, plain and simple, and it's the truth. Yeah, it's plan ahead. Just like any other place, when you go ahead in a place you've never been, plan ahead. And I know journalists, sports journalists, whatnot, who are covering this in the media, you're planning at the last second. I get it. But here's my word of advice. You know, Omaha's not that small of a town. It's about 500,000, I believe, 400,000 or 500,000. It's a good-sized city. I know the airport's not like Austin's. And look at the era we're living in right now, supply chain issues. You're entitled to your opinion, but I had a problem with that. This probably would not be the same anywhere else. And I know in that thread they were talking about, oh, is this just based on tradition? Yes. Another tradition would not be started like this anywhere else in America or the College World Series, because that has been a work in progress since, I believe, 1948, 49, I can't remember, or 52, I think. I can't remember. But they built that, and it has become, that town owns it. The most hospitable sporting event community I've ever seen or witnessed or been a part of there in Omaha, Nebraska. So that's my Tell Me Something Good with a little negative spin to it. And thank you, Hutch, for sponsoring this beautiful segment. Now, I want to encourage all of you, if you're watching this and you're in Omaha, Nebraska, I want to highlight all those great pictures that are coming out of Omaha beginning Friday, day one. This is Thursday evening recording this episode. But I want to share this with you guys. Something that I hope if you see this. So if you're in Omaha for the CWS, I want you to submit your photos daily in the comment thread below wherever you see this, okay? That being on Twitter, @StoriesManCave, or on the Stories Inside the Man Cave Facebook page, or even on the IG page, Instagram, that is, Stories Inside the Man Cave. There's a post on IG. You'll see this graphic. There's a post on Twitter @StoriesManCave and on the Facebook page where you're probably watching this episode. Submit your pictures daily. Seriously. It's right here. Submit those pictures daily while you're in Omaha, and I'm going to pick the best pick per day and highlight it on an episode. And I want to highlight it specifically as the best picture submitted from the College World Series in Omaha. And I would love for everyone to have their pictures, because that is a fun time. Legendary moments are happening before, during, and after those games in Omaha. It's such a fun time. And I hope you just go ahead and log on and follow all those social media platforms of ours. And follow along, and we'll get those pictures rolling. So pass the word along if you're in Omaha, to get your people, get your peeps, submit those photos to me. Hey, and in case you missed it, this is episode 148, but the previous episode was so much fun. 3 dads of current Texas Longhorn baseball players, that being Tom Hanson, the son or father of the All-American pitcher, Donovan Campbell, the father of UT outfielder Dylan Campbell, and of course Preston Stevens, the hero of the Super Regional clincher, Tristan Stevens, the pitcher. Man, we had a great time. Man, those are great men, great families, so much fun. And their man cave story was absolutely hilarious. It was a lot of fun talking about what they did during the rain delay, and it was just a lot of fun. Even the manscaping in the man cave part was so much fun. I'll have to separate that and post that on Instagram for you guys to see it. And I hope you watch the entire episode. It's a lot of fun. So go to like it, watch it, share it on your social media platforms. And it was just a great episode. So that's a wrap on the eve of the 75th College World Series. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have no idea who's going to win it because I think every team in this field this year, all 8 of them have a chance to win the national championship. It would be fun to see Texas or A&M or even Oklahoma in that national championship series from that bracket number 1. Of course, the bias side of me, I love to see the Longhorns. They've got a squad. They've got a squad that can do it. It's going to take it up here and for that bullpen to step up. So for the OG Man Cave boys, that being Harbaugh Hards, Big Mike, and Coach Mo, we are out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.